This should be a wake-up call for a lot of people in his cult. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of his orbiters that maybe everything he was saying was a lie from the start. This sex pest, who has now been outed as a file as well from his community. Here's what he recently had to say, and then we're going to move on to the news.
If this is the norm for political commentary, you could very easily justify attacking or killing Hasan. 100%. If it's going to be that every single Zionist, every single Jew, everybody in Israel, even your content creator's wife or whatever in the West Bank, like if that's the norm, then you could basically kill every online content creator you want. Like if that's how we're going to run these norms down, it's insane. I don't know, somebody find the quote of what I said. And I will keep saying things like that, and I'll constantly keep doing things like that. And I hope Hasan keeps.
He's so badass, dude. He's so badass. I like that. I like that it's just, this is not what I said at all. Like, my point is, and I'm going to repeat it one more time, okay? It doesn't matter who this person is. It doesn't matter if it's your favorite content creator. It doesn't matter if it's me. If I went in, joined the Israeli occupying force, okay? Trained with the Israeli occupying force, went into the occupied West Bank territory on a night raid, and I got shot at, that's free game, okay? Because the occupied people have a legal right to militarily resist against the occupational force. That's it. That is a matter of international law. Take it up with the UN. You can... clearly, people try to actively move the conversation away to something I didn't say because that's a position that you can't really defend, right? That's not... Like, you can't just be like, I don't think that occupied people have a legal right to militarily resist, engage in armed struggle against an occupational force. This has nothing to do with like individual content creators. Like, what I'm talking about is very clearly well-defined within international law and also reiterated over and over and over again. Okay. What he's trying to say is, oh, dude, you should go and Hasan. Yeah, this is not the first content creator that is like actively called upon their fans to kill me, and it probably won't be the last. As a matter of fact, I was hanging out with file neo-Nazi. Now we know why he was hanging out with him on his own stream. Also, at the time when that file neo-Nazi Sam Hyde was also doing the haha Hasan Piker, I'm going to come to your house and kill you. So this is not the first time he's done shit like this. Stalkman pieced out on his podcast with Epstein. Yeah, that's shit. He's just trying to, I think the reason why his second in command, who utilizes his community because he has no motion outside of that, to engage in these like stalking operations is only distancing himself because he is an advertiser of Ethan Klein's podcast. And he feels like it's going to look bad for Ethan if Ethan attacks me. And then I turn around and say, dude, you're getting money from this dude who is giving you all these talking points and this community that is like actively defending someone trying to procure use material. Like, what the you have no leg to stand on. So I think Dan thinks if he just like cuts ties for a little bit after actively defending Destiny, hopefully that'll give Ethan some stronger legs to stand on. When in fact it doesn't work that way. I mean, this is his business partner. Dan Saltman is the person that is the connective tissue between these two people, and he is directly funding. He's one of the last remaining podcast funders, redact.dev. As you guys know, that's Dan Saltman's company. And he's giving the talking points to Ethan, and his community is actively in here. They're in here probably right now, losing their minds, looking for something that they can misconstrue, as they do every single day. This clip was posted on the Destiny. Wait, what? They're defending D, losing my mind at the complete inversion of reality here. Then I remember that the H3 sub has been completely taken over by Destiny fans. They all think Destiny's a victim of a years-long harassment campaign by Hasan when it's the other way around. Hasan ignored him for years. Yeah, so that's awesome. The only thing I will say here is that Destiny has been dealing with Hasan for far, far longer than Ethan. Ethan literally said that Hasan brought up Destiny the first time they met in person. He survived like 6 years of Hasan's constant campaigns against him. He used to not pay any attention to them, but that led him to getting the current reputation he has now, where Hasan will lie about him to others, painting the most horrible picture of him that still somewhat persists. There's a reason why people that get yanked from Hasan's cult literally only have to watch like one full video of his to realize he's been lying about him all this time. It's quite hard to overstate just how deep the Destiny Hasan feud goes. When you've seen how bad these communities are at their worst for like over half a decade, you lose any hope that the high ground will matter. What I really find funny about this is not only is it just the exact opposite of the reality, but my favorite is when they do like the liberal Zionist position between me and Destiny. The liberal Zionist, like, well, both sides are kind of. It's like, no, this is not a both sides situation, man. This has been an active cyber stalking operation with mass harassment initiatives. They always do this with like LSF too. Like LSF is literally run by a moderator in Destiny's community. And if you look at the top post in LSF, it's like Hasan sneezed wrong. And it's like 7,000 upvotes. And then all of the comments underneath it is like, yo, he's the worst person that's ever existed. And then they have the audacity to turn around and be like, Hasan obviously brigades this Discord. It's like, it's weird because it doesn't seem to exist. The Hasan defense on LSF. It's just no motion overall because you just push through it. And as long as you push through it and as long as you abide by your values and you know, keep doing your own thing, a lot of these guys who are just like utterly repulsive, truly evil individuals, they just, you know, they keep themselves up anyway. Off topic, but new info. The rats have jumped ship. He privately admitted to keeping alleged CSAM and police are involved now. Yeah, this is why I guess people were like, you have to watch the Willie Mack Show's new video. One of Stephen Bono, aka Destiny's previous supporters and collaborators, just reported to police for allegedly keeping CSAM on his computer and admitting to it.
It's because he continued to write. I didn't know this until way later, but the videos she recorded with other guys, the file names are like screen recording, blah, blah, blah. And then he shows me a screenshot of the top of a video clip and says, her boyfriend was recording these on Skype calls. That's absolutely insane to think about him doing all of this if she was 17. Well, this is insane to me because he's saying Rose's boyfriend recorded CP while sending me a screenshot of the alleged CP. So I asked to confirm if he just did that. If you were sending me this, I'm guessing you still have that video. Destiny replies, depends on why you're asking. But yes, I created copies of all of our messages and everything when that court case started. Just to be clear, he's admitting to having alleged CP.
Why does this dude think that this is like a good defense? I mean, I don't think that Willie Slop Show actually gives a fuck about anything. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a mercenary and I think he's just reading the room and realizing that this is a sinking ship that he must jump, because he was like actively defending and sweeping for him for Destiny for quite a while, even after like the initial accusations of the court cases took place. Like he was like kind of critical of him, but not really. He was critical of him in a way where it was like still in defense of him. He has utilized Destiny's community to make multiple fairly successful videos on people like myself and many other enemies of Destiny. He is definitely a fixture of that slop tuber community that we talk about. Like these guys literally looked at Israel's genocide of the Palestinian population and thought, this is a great opportunity for us to farm some drama clicks. And unfortunately, there are a lot of not very intelligent people who have taken their note from this because they're just like kind of watching something that's easily digestible. And they go, oh, this is a bad person. We shouldn't listen to him. And now he is jumping ship. So it seems like the walls are closing in.
Court case started. Just to be clear, he's admitting to having alleged CP downloaded on his computer. He literally has the video open as I'm talking to him. I go, bruh, there's been allegations at least since my last video that she was underage, and you still have potential CP of her? He replies, I have an obligation to preserve relevant evidence, etc. So I created backups of all of the important / relevant conversations. He continues, I don't think I'm allowed to delete it, lol. I don't know if it counts as hiding / destroying evidence. And I reply, talk to a lawyer. That seems crazy to me. Who keeps this sort of stuff on their computer without 100% knowing if they're supposed to or not? Isn't that something you want to confirm? I continued, you just let me know you have CP videos saved to your computer. You knew it was alleged that she was underage. You still have them. Do you see how this is. So now I've confirmed that this guy has child porn on his computer. In my 8 years of reaching out to people over allegations, I've never had anyone admit that to me. The last message he sent me was, 1, I don't even know 100% if her age was legitimately less than 18 when these were taken. So basically, he's not 100% sure if he has child on his computer. He's just 99% sure. Got it. 2, I'm pretty sure I have an obligation to preserve stuff related to my court case. I've talked about it with my lawyer already, specifically with regards to the Rose stuff. So we went from, I don't know if I could delete this, to my lawyer says it's totally fine to keep. I don't know the law, but the idea that his lawyer would tell him to hold on to CP for a civil case just doesn't seem likely to me. I don't know. LawTube can figure that out. 3, if something were to come out of this, I don't know if I'd want to wipe everything and not have something to turn over to the authorities. If hypothetically, whenever a political creator is about to give a hypothetical, you know you're about to hear some weird shit. If hypothetically her boyfriend or whatever was actually trafficking her or getting her to other dudes on video for him, and if there was ever some kind of investigation into that, am I hurting the chance of looking into him by deleting all of this stuff? Oh, so now the reason he's keeping the CP.
Yeah, no, there's a justifiable reason for it. He actually has the utmost highest morals at all times. Wow, from the guy who has actively debated the ethics of ethical CP, ethical CSAM, comes an opportunity for him to have that in his hard drive. Interesting.
Is because of
Destiny be like, I'm a white hat file, actually. You don't understand.
a hypothetical criminal case that he is not pursuing at all. Okay, maybe these reasons are legally sound advice that came from his lawyer. Maybe he's lying and just saying anything to make it sound better to me. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I just know this guy's admitting to having CP in my DMs. 60 gigabytes according to him. Seriously.
Yeah. Destiny be like, excuse me, what if there was a nuke that was about to go off in New York City and the only way to stop it is to insert a USB with C into my computer and watch it? What then? And then, of course, the intellectual titans cult of sycophants will literally look at that and go, that's an amazing argument. I never thought about it like that. Actually, you are right to do so. That's one of the most like ridiculous aspects of this entire situation, beyond the criminal element, beyond the fact that like there are still people who are so deluded. If your entire fandom revolves around you making the best argument possible and ritualistically humiliating your interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas, and you can't even come up with like a convincing counter narrative here, then what do you have? You have nothing that remains. Like a couple of the reasons why people still hold on to this idea that like Destiny's a force for good, actually, even though he's just a little bit of a gooner, was because, one, he is actively de-radicalizing people, right? He is so effective at de-radicalizing people. I've seen no evidence of this, okay? I've seen no evidence of this whatsoever, especially because like he still holds a lot of reactionary perspectives. He just says, you know, you can say the N-word as a white guy and shit on marginalized people all the time, except, you know, you just have to vote Democrat while doing so. And not only that, but also he can't even help his own son. If he was a better father to his own son wouldn't have turned into a Nazi. So clearly he has failed on that front demonstrably. And the other idea that people love him is because he is this like intellectual warlord, a giant that can best anyone in the marketplace of ideas, no matter how incredible their intellect might be, right? He can go toe-to-toe with intellectuals that are subject matter experts and still defeat them in the marketplace of ideas. That also was a fucking abject failure with the conversation that took place between him and obviously Norm Finkelstein, even though his cult still deluded themselves into believing that he didn't make a fool of himself in that process, okay? But especially now, even if you're viewing this from the perspective of drama, okay? Even if you're viewing this from the perspective of drama, the way that he has actually dealt with this criminal incident is so stupid. I brought up one of the examples yesterday, okay? No hate, big dog, but I really think that if you or any other debater would debate a lawyer, you would lose. Wait, what? Debate a lawyer? What? I don't know what you're even saying right now. I didn't say I'm going to debate a lawyer. What? I don't even know what you're referencing. What I'm trying to say is, with respect to what Destiny's been trying to do in the last couple of days, as he's like flailing around and trying to defend himself, he's gone back to his old tricks. Number one, what about Hasan? Okay. That's always the thing that has helped him. No matter how ridiculous, no matter how up something he's saying is, he can always turn around and say, well, what about Hasan? Okay. Well, that ripcord doesn't work here. Okay. It's clearly not working because this is like a fucking criminal thing that he's doing. And that hasn't worked. So he has also started the process once again, or never really stopped the process of victim blaming, specifically going after Pixie, who is in a court case as a victim of the distribution of revenge. Okay. And he's turning around and attacking Pixie and anyone he can get his hands on, anyone he can like belittle. But even in those counter arguments, even on those deflections, like they're so silly. Those deflections are so unimaginably silly. Like he'll just be like, why does nobody care about the person who potentially filmed this CSAM? It's like, what the do you mean? Why does nobody care about the person who filmed the CSAM? Like, nobody knows that person. You know that person. You have direct involvement with that person. You should be the one who cares. That's not an active deflection. What do you mean? Well, I'm just the recipient of CSAM as opposed to the person who procured it. Okay. Why the do you think that's an argument that actually maintains your innocence? That just means there's another guy out there who's also an awful piece of shit. That doesn't make any sense. You can't turn around and be like, well, your honor, I may have purchased it, but someone else made it. And from what I understand, the only reason why they figured out that this person that he was actually sending the revenge of others to in solicitation of CSAM and even actively trying to traffic this minor, okay, both are different crimes. That person was 17. And the reason why people figured out that that person was 17 was because he flexed on the haters to reveal information about this person, seemingly, so that he goaded people into figuring out who this person was, to identify who this person was. And then they did. It makes no sense. And now that they did, now he's cooked. Just yesterday, he lied by claiming there was nothing to give to the police. In yet another shocking case of self-sabotage, the Omni liberal claimed yesterday he had no evidence to give to the police regarding Rose. Today, Willie Mack Show posted a video explicitly detailing evidence that Destiny gave him, including file names, purported CSAM sent by Rose. Destiny goes on to confess that he has made copies of not just his friend's messages, but all with Rose and all attachments. Would he be incapable of going to the police with these files? If you send me this, I'm guessing you still have that video, he says. He says he's not sure if she was under 18 when the video was taken. The video title just commented on a date that is obviously before is claimed to be her 18th birthday. As if this couldn't get any more bizarre, Destiny goes on to tell Willie that the reason he is preserving this evidence is to help a potential investigation. The exact thing he told Eli B again, he wasn't able to do. Incredible stuff, Steven. Bro, at its most, like there is also like obviously a permanent victimhood narrative here at the heart of everything. It's like he distributes revenge that he has filmed both consensually and unconsensually of other people to a random person on Discord in an effort to like that person because he wants to fuck that person. Turns out the person is also 17, which is, extra insane and criminal. Okay. But even in that process, like he's been able to try and present himself as the real victim here. Is like, oh, well, my porn got leaked too. It's like, bro, why were you sending it out? What the fuck do you mean? Why were you distributing it? Why were you filming it without the consent of both parties? Why were you distributing it without the consent of all parties involved? This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But clearly, even though plenty of people initially were like, oh man, I'm actually very upset about this, they still turned around and eventually found that there was a good reason to protect Destiny here, to defend Destiny here, because he's like, his enemies are so much worse than him. Ironically enough, that's what they literally think. That I'm like actively terrorizing the country. I'm a hater of America. I want to sabotage America. I'm a terrorist. And he's the only bulwark against like growing communism in the country that they've been deluded into thinking is like a reasonable force to reckon with, or even a scary one at all. Yeah, it turns out Pedstiny reminds me of Onision, but the debate lore version. Yeah, if Onision was at least like a convincing enough debater, he probably would have been able to maintain his career, I guess. He is trying to present himself as a victim once again in this process too. He's like, well, I was just duped. I was duped by a 17-year-old. I'm actually the real victim here. Yeah, here's the other victim here, primary victim, Drew Pavlov. For God's sake, why couldn't Destiny just not be like this? Bro, I made all these pro Destiny videos with my face in them. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of people in his cult. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of his orbiters that maybe everything he was saying was a lie from the start. If he always operated this way and you found him to be a charismatic figure, perhaps you were deluded into shaping your worldview around the personal vendettas of a maniac, a sociopathic villain. And I know that cult deprogramming takes a lot of effort, but considering that this is just like someone you have no interest in, someone who you don't know at all, when you find out that they're like a freak, this is a good point of severance, the easiest exit ramp of all time, to be like, yeah, this is my break-off point. Perhaps the things that he was saying and doing all along might have been to serve his own personal agendas, to serve his own personal vengeance mission. Everything he does for himself. It's not like he's like hiding it either. So, you know, I welcome people finally coming to that conclusion on their own. It took far too long. Very good at like creating an environment of plausible deniability. There are certain things that you just can't continue doing when the crime is far too severe. It usually leads to people even in your own community going, nah, that's gonna tarnish your good reputation forever, and it should. The only reason why I think it's gotten to this position is because there was never accountability. For far too long, he just kind of got away with doing stuff like this because it's not the first time he's done shit like this. I mean, there are so many different clips of him just like he's put out there, and people were able to just like avoid seeing this, avoid recognizing that this was like weird behavior.